Thousands of horsepower, and round 2 of the 2022 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is underway. René Reiner plants his foot to the floor, gets a great start, and actually clears Steffi Halm by a good couple of lengths there. And look at that, Theo Calvé now down the inside of Steffi going into the chicane. This is on board with reigning champion, truck number 1, Norbert Kish. Into turn 1 he goes, and look, Jochen Hahn round the outside of Antonio Alberthetti, started directly behind him on the grid, get over to the left and make his way around him. That's Adam Lachko on the right of our screens there as we go on board with Sasha Lenz. Theo Calvé is up a position, is he? No, it doesn't look like it actually. Steffi Halm's still there. But now Theo chucks it down the inside and he's made contact with Steffi. The two of them go straight on. Sasha Lenz tries to capitalise. They all have to come on somewhere. And Theo's truck gets a big, big hit in the right rear there. A bit of fluid got flicked up, I think, onto the lens of the camera. Get it, Sasha? Lens. Anyway, he still remains to be side by side with Theo Calvé. And you can see a bit of damage on the tyre of Adam Lachko there. Something moving around as down the inside of Steffi Halm goes Norbert Kish. Into the side of Steffi, into the side of Jochen. Jochen wouldn't have known that they were going to go 3 wide through there, but big contact. But these big old trucks can survive it. Wow, argy-bargy on the opening lap of the race. Well, I said before about trying to make your way through the field as quickly as possible. Seems like some of these lot, they really mean it. Any means necessary. But that was big contact. We've got trucks smoking, bodywork flapping. That's the right rear on Calvé's truck there as Sasha Lenz tried to get past him. Now Norbert Kish is making his intentions very clear, looking down the inside. You can see them all getting up to a maximum speed of 100 miles an hour, where they are then governed and limited. They have to behave themselves and not go over 100 miles an hour. That's on safety grounds. Sasha Lenz trying to get around the outside of Theo Calvé. Theo sticks to that inside line. This is important, though, because Norbert Kish is now going to be on the inside of Sasha Lenz, side by side at the back as well. Jamie Anderson there, I think, side by side with, I think, was that Thomas Robinot? Has he dropped down quite a lot? He has. He's down to 14th place, so he's not had the best of starts. I think he's maybe been caught up in some of the dramas there. But end of lap 1, and it's René Reiner leading Adam Lachko, and Antonio Alberthetti has made his way up from 5th into 3rd. Lachko goes from 4th to 2nd. Behind them is Theo Calvé, Sasha Lenz, Norbert Kish, Steffi Halm having a nightmare of a first lap, going down from 2nd to 7th after that contact with Theo. Theo has to get out of it a little bit there. You could see him just put the lock on to the right to avoid hitting Sasha Lenz. Norbert Kish goes for a cutback as they head up towards turn 4. Late on the brakes. Norby gets the MAN stopped nicely on the apex of Curva del Rio. That was turn 4. This is the right-hander at turn 5. Then they flick the weight back over to the left-hand side for turn 6. Anthony Janiak there going down the inside of Stefan Faas, who certainly goes off of track limits there on the right-hand side of the circuit. Now Jochen Hahn, after getting that big hit in the side in the opening encounter, will not be too chuffed, as Sasha Lenz will not be too chuffed, because that is a big old lock-up into turn 8 at Curva Quercia. And Jochen Hahn now trying to get down the inside of Theo Calvé. The young Frenchman having to work hard to hold him back. Here's a look back then. That's the contact between Sasha Lenz and Theo Calvé, and then that was post-contact between Steffi Halm and Norbert Kish. The two of them coming together, meaning that Jochen Hahn was pushed out wide. Back on board we go with Norby. You can see the two trucks just a moment ago hitting that 100 mile an hour mark and just sitting at the same speed as they go now down towards turns 13 and 14. As somebody's gone straight on in front, that's Antonio Alberthetti. There's a lot of smoke and a lot of dust. And then all of a sudden, a T-Sport Benau truck coming back on. Shane Brereton there, side by side, a little bit further down with Rodriguez, I believe that is. He's just got past him and moves in front. Andrei Kurzim moving through the order as well. We'll see where he is at the end of the lap. But for the race lead, as the black and white flag comes out, for the race lead, René Reiner and Adam Lachko. Never mind truck 77 and 44 as it was on the front row. It's 77 and 55 now. Adam Lachko looking to try and get a very, very early race victory in this championship. He only got one race win last season, and I believe that was at a very wet Zolder, where the Freightliner excelled, and he makes contact with the back of René Reiner. Bodywork goes flying. There's smoke in the air. Both trucks wobbling about as they make it into turn 4. I've been told that Teo Calvé has been given a 5-second penalty for making contact and causing a collision with Steffi Halm. Now, as much as I like Teo, that does not surprise me, I'm afraid. It was a big send down the inside, big contact, and it really affected Steffi's race. You can see in front as well, actually. Is that a move for second? It is. Antonio Alberthetti is really closed up to the back of Adam Lachko now. So Adam, while trying to take the lead, has actually lost a bit of ground to René Reiner. That is not good news for the Czech Bagheera ZM racing machine. There is Anthony Janiak. He's trying to make up some ground after a tough earlier race. Jochen Hahn has got ahead of Teo Calvé as per the first sector. Steffi Halm now down in 8th position. We saw her all over the back of Teo, trying to move forward. Look at the pace they do down there into turns 13 and 14. We saw Antonio Alberthetti there on the left-hand side of your shot was just looking down the inside of Lachko, as he did in the first race where they had big contact. Norbert Kish now all over the back of Sascha Lenz. These two had so many great fights last season as well for overall for the Drivers' Championship. And now they find themselves in a quartet all of a sudden. Stefan Faas apparently already having 2 warnings for track limits. If he gets another one, then that'll be a drive-through penalty. René Reiner has absolutely disappeared. I'm wondering whether that contact for Adam Lachko has damaged the truck again, like he had in the first race. Contact with Alberthetti seemed to just knock the truck off kilter, and he just did not have the pace from that point forwards. And again, look at the understeer there on that front left for Lachko. Something definitely not right with that truck. And Alberthetti chucks it up the inside into Curva del Rio. He gets through, Lenz gets through, and yeah, there's definitely something up with Lachko's truck. He's given up there. That's such a shame to see. Great if you're Alberthetti, because that means he gets ahead of one of his championship rivals straight off the bat on lap 3. Look at the run that Sascha Lenz has got, though. Oh, Antonio just covers off the left-hand side enough there to make sure that Lenz can't get through. And I told you, these trucks are wide. Lenz can't go through on the right either. I was surprised we didn't get a little love tap there from Norbert Kish behind. I imagine Norby's just waiting for an opportunity here from those two. Behind them, there's Jochen Hahn going past Adam Lachko. Well, after starting on the second row of the grid, it's not been the best of races so far for the two Bagheera Freightliners. Teo Calvé started 3rd, Adam Lachko started 4th, and now they find themselves... Well, Lachko's still racing in 5th place, but you still find Calvé down in 9th. Look at the way they move through turns 12 and then into 13. Lovely drone shot once again of the field making their way through. There's definite problems for Lachko, though. You can see he's just trying to stay out of the way here. And I imagine the Freightliner will make its way into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Norbert Kish, though, he's buying his time at the moment, isn't he? He's just waiting, just seeing what opportunity comes his way. Sascha Lenz right in front. Definitely one of the guys that he'll be fighting for the title this season. Teo Calvé is now another driver on his 2nd warning for track limits, I'm told. As, whoa, Norby gets into the back of Sascha Lenz. Carries a lot of pace into turn 1. Gives him a not quite friendly tap in the rear into that first chicane. That's certainly not a point where you want to receive that sort of contact. Not that you want to receive it anywhere on the circuit, but still. Sascha Lenz now has Norby crawling around all over the back of that MAN. And in doing that, though, Norby is actually causing the pair of them to sort of fall away from Antonio Albacete. Anytime that he takes away from Sasha Lenz, he's taking away from the pair of them. So if he feels like he's held up somewhat by Sasha in front of him, he needs to just make one move and get on with it straight away. There is the view from Sasha forward to Antonio. Making their way up to the double right-hander. At turns 9 and 10. That is Curva Tramonto. Rennie Reiner doing a good job, actually, leading this race at the moment. His last lap was a 2:05.3. Albacete was only 1/10 quicker, but he was quicker than Lenz, Kish, but not Jochen Hahn. Jochen Hahn, the fastest truck on the circuit at the moment. He's done the fastest lap out of anyone on that last lap. Actually, it was not. I apologise. It was Norbert Kish did a 2:04.3. Jochen Hahn did his personal best anyway of a 2:04.6 on that last lap, a 2:04.666. Kurzim goes a little bit deep there into turn 14, to say the least. There's one of the penalty markers there getting smacked by just about every truck that goes through. You can see just how well these things do handle, though, through that right-hander. But there's your top 5 all together. René Reiner in the Iveco. Then it's MAN, Albacete, Lenz, Kish, and then Jochen Hahn in another one of the Ivecos just behind the Team Hahn racing machine. He's going to be trying to close in on these guys if they continue to fight, and if Norby continues not to be able to find a way past Sasha Lenz, you can bet that Jochen Hahn will be right on the scene. And Adam Lachko has unfortunately retired from the race. You can see him still on the timing screen there in 15th position. But that has been the end of his race, I'm afraid. It looks like we haven't had Clemens Hecker take to the start either in this race. He hasn't shown up on the timing screens. So clearly whatever problem they had before has been enough to keep them from the second race of the weekend. That's a real shame as well. Sasha Lenz now can only watch as Albacete in front of him goes chasing after race leader Reiner. There was a bit of damage there on Anthony Janiak's truck. The right rear certainly has had a bash, and the right front wasn't looking too smart either. Jamie Anderson not going as well as I would have expected, actually. He's down there in 14th place at the moment. Wonder whether he's had some sort of incident. He seemed to have dropped down a little bit in the first race as well. There's bodywork and panels, I imagine, off Anthony Janiak's truck because, well, it's bright yellow. I'm sure we can try and identify who that is off, but my money straight away is on Janiak because, whoa, Jochen Hahn there clips the outside grass a little bit, spits some of the dust all over the circuit. Still manages to get it slowed down, though, somehow. That can be a very, very scary moment in any sort of racing car, never mind a truck. And you could just see Anthony Janiak for a second there with the damage on it as Christina is in the pit lane, I imagine, with Adam Lachko.
You see what was happening with some parts down to the earth.
From the second place, when I try past the René closed me the door, and we have a contact, and I have broken completely steering, and in 3 corner I go only on the grass, and this is the reason why I must stop.
And so, yes, it's race 2, Sundays ahead. Can you fix it?
Yes, I hope we fix it, we change, and tomorrow is new day, we must new fighting.
Thank you very much, Adam Lachko, and I'm sorry for the loss of the race. So as you can see, they're walking very quickly.
Yes, indeed. The Bagheera ZM racing team always working very, very well on those Freightliners. It's a massive shame to lose Adam from the race, but while these trucks are big, tough machines, obviously contact with another big, tough machine can mean that all of a sudden your race can be over and you can get damage. On our main screen, though, here, we see the move for the lead. Antonio Albacete goes down the inside of René Reiner and takes the lead of the race down at turn 8. And then I think Sasha Lenz was going to go through as well there. It looked like definitely he was in with a shout of gaining the extra position. We've got some sort of smoke and, well, some sort of residue of some kind flying off the back of the number 21 machine here, just behind Stefan Fast and Shane Brereton. Here's the guys back up at the front though. René Reiner now behind Sasha Lenz down into third place. Norbert Kish is going to be the next truck to line up and try and have a go. But ultimately, Antonio Albacete leads the race. Started 5th on the grid, and he's made his way forward piece by piece to get it all wrapped up so far. Anyway, I say wrapped up, it's far from wrapped up. It is only the halfway point of the race now. Another black and white flag going out. These guys are really testing the stewards today. But there's your leader, Antonio Albacete. Sasha Lenz behind. Then René Reiner with, well, of all people, Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn stuck behind him. Norby moves over to the left because he knows that's going to be the outside for the second part of the chicane. He then looks down the inside going into said chicane. Doesn't quite get it done. I've been told as well, Clemens Hecker had a technical issue with a fuel leak at the start, so he did not take the start of the race. Or it was before the race, apologies. Real shame for Clemens Hecker. But your race leader, Antonio Albacete, he already has 106 race wins to his name in this championship. So it's certainly a big number to be adding to, but he's a very, very experienced driver. Out of everybody on the grid, I think he is the most experienced we have here. Jochen Hahn's been in the championship for 23 years. Even with a year off, Antonio's been here for 25. He joined the championship for the first time in 1997. 1997, I was 5. Fantastic experience, though, and it's great to see these guys still doing it, you know. Antonio is 57 years of age at this point. Jochen Hahn's got 10 years on him. Jochen is 47 going into this championship. The only other driver in the championship in their 50s is Shane Brereton and René Reiner, actually, who we see there just in front of us. He's being chased by 37-year-old Norbert Kish right now. But drivers of all nationalities and ages in the field, and still great racing from every single one of them. There's, whoa, in the background there's a lot of dust being kicked up by somebody. Not quite sure who was the culprit for that one, but that's definitely not part of the track limits. As Norbert Kish now piles in behind René Reiner, you can see the brake lights and the reflectors on the top of the truck there. Looks like that brake light's always on, but the brake lights are actually a bit further down in the frame of the truck. Albacete leads across the line. We've got a black and orange flag going out for somebody, as well as a black and white flag. Not quite sure who the black and orange one is for, but we'll have to try and keep our eyes on that one. There wasn't anybody with that much bodywork flying off the truck, was there? I know René Reiner's right rear, there's a tongue twister for you, René Reiner's right rear was hanging off. You can see it just there in the bottom of your shot. As, whoa, Norbert Kish, as you hear him going up the gears there, spins up the rear wheels very quickly. They're about 1,200 horsepower, these trucks, with over 5,000 Newton meters of torque. But even still, they can spin up the rears like mad. And we've had more warnings for penalty markers, i.e. track limits, and, well, that is Jochen Hahn chucking it up the inside of Norbert Kish, gives him a friendly kish on the way through. Still side by side as they go up towards turn 9. Norby moves over to the left, saying, try it, sunshine, I dare you. Smoke from the front right of Jochen's truck, though. Is that just bodywork rubbing against the tyre, or is that something more? You can see the bodywork is flapping around now, so I imagine it's just that. I hope it's just that. We're in for a great scrap between these pair, still with a number of laps left to go. And the black and orange flag was for Thomas Robineau. Because of the black smoke rule, there is smoke emerging from the truck, so he has to come into the pits, adjust what they can to stop that, and then they can send him back out. And the penalty marker warnings came for trucks 44 and 33. That's Steffi Halm and Jamie Anderson. Into the final couple of corners again we go then. And once more, whoa, Anthony Janiak, big moment on the way into 14. He's got Teo Calve right in front of him. It seems like Teo's always got a truck right behind him. That marshal is going to have arms of steel after this race for holding out that black and white flag for pretty much the entire encounter. But 9 laps completed now. Sasha Lenz closing in on Antonio Albacete. Just to clarify as well, the counter in the top left of your screen is how many laps we've completed of the 12. So this is the 10th lap of the race now. And we have lost Adam Lachko. Thomas Robineau has come into the pits, and Clemens Hecker did not start the race. There's Reiner still holding on ahead of Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn. Still smoke coming from Hahn's truck. Steffi Halm is in 6th position at the moment. So she's recovered a couple of places from the earlier mayhem. See the bodywork all strewn across the circuit there down at turn 8 from what's left of the front of Adam. Sorry, not Adam. It was Anthony Janiak's truck, wasn't it? The number 66 machine, the Lion Truck Racing MAN. Norbert Kish hard onto the brakes then. Really close to the back of René Reiner. You could see the back end kicking out there. You could hear the tyres screaming for mercy. Antonio Albacete, though, makes his way down into turns 13 and 14 once more. He's only got a couple of laps left to go here. Big bit of daylight between Steffi Halm and Andre Kurzim. Kurzim with not much or anything of the front left remaining on his truck. Again, Norbert Kish just pushing René Reiner around the circuit right now. Norby wants to try and get a podium. It'll be his second podium of the season after winning the first race earlier on today. But René wants to open his account with a podium finish. The only driver that's currently in a podium spot that finished there in the first race is Sasha Lenz. So he'd be the first driver to make a repeat return to the podium at least. Bit unfair of a statistic though, isn't it, with only 2 races gone, but still. Lap 11 out of 12 right now then, and Norbert Kish, well, he's trying to find any way he can past René Reiner. He's got a run on him. René moves over in a similar fashion to how he did on Adam Lachko. Don't quite think he left enough room on the right-hand side, hence the contact, but Norbert backs out of it, saves the truck for another attack now, gets a good run out of the left-hander at turn 6. All the way down the back straight, which is counted as a curve. Turn 7 effectively. Norby climbing around all over that Iveco. It's an MAN sandwich with Iveco bread right now. It's around the outside. Amazing stuff by Norbert Kish. Really pushes the limits of how the truck can handle, and René Reiner says, get out there, sunshine. The penalty markers go flying. Norby saying, not on your life. He's got the nose down the inside still. Jochen Hahn says, go on then, son, I'll come with you. Down the inside he goes as well on one of his old team's prepared trucks. Antonio Albacete's had his second warning for track limits as well, so he needs to be careful. But Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn both going through on René Reiner. Here's another look at that move. Lovely stuff around the outside. I think a little bit of contact in the middle of the corner, and then Reiner just says, get out of it. Chucks him off to the right-hand side of the road. But Norbert Kish back into a podium spot. Now, has he received any sort of damage or anything on the truck that may harm him into the final couple of laps? You can feel the way that the momentum shifts from that onboard camera, can't you? There's Andre Kurzim, Anthony Janiak, and Teo Calve all together. Teo 9th place right now. We've got a couple of seconds over Shane Brayton, so Teo is still on his way to win the Promoters' Cup in this race. You can hear the tyres just a moment ago screaming. You can see the mudguards. All 3 of these drivers actually with their right rear mudguards hanging around in the wind. Teo Calve's the most dramatic one at the moment out of the 3 of them. But it's certainly something that they have a lot of spares of in the paddock here at Misano and here in the championship, I can tell you. There are a lot of spare bumpers, even spare windscreens that often go into the trucks. It was one thing that really surprised me actually at Misano last year, was to just see how many spare windscreens there were lying around after the races. Sasha Lenz, though, he's been putting the times in here, you know. He was actually 4/10 slower than Albacete on that previous lap, but before that he was catching him up quite considerably. and he stuck with him into the latter stages of this race. Norbert Kirsch has got a little bit of a gap back to Jochen Hahn, but so far all weekend, these two have been absolutely glued together, and we hope to see that remain that way over the course of the championship. Sascha Lenz moves out to the right-hand side. They don't benefit from slipstream here in this championship, so you will see them moving over like that. They are limited to 100 miles an hour, so they gain no benefit from sitting behind directly in the slipstream of the truck ahead of them. It'll just heat up the engine. They may as well get into some cool air while they're both going at the same speed. Sitting behind gains them nothing. A couple of corners to go, though. It's looking nice and tidy for T-Sport Burnout and for Antonio Albacete. He didn't win a race last year, did Antonio, but he starts his 2022 campaign in the best way possible. Albacete wins at Misano ahead of Sascha Lenz. Norbert Kirsch is going to take third place, his second podium of the weekend. Same with Sascha, and Jochen Hahn right behind him. René Reiner finishes inside the top 5. Steffi Halm recovers to 6th position. And then Andrei Kurzim is just going to hold on ahead of Anthony Janiak, is he? Across the line they go, and it is just Kurzim, Janiak. And then just behind, Teo Calve takes his second win of the weekend in the Promoters' Cup from Shane Brereton, and Stefan Faas finishes in 11th place.